Hey everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Ash and I am here with another review roundup video. In these videos I cover 4 games I've been playing recently across a variety of genres and platforms sometimes and tell you what I think of them. So we're going to jump straight in with the first game. It's Go Go Jump. Now this is developed by Manning Media and I believe this is from a guy who used to do videos on YouTube, like very comedic videos and stuff like that. Can't honestly say I'd ever heard of him till I started looking into this game, but apparently he was big back in the day on YouTube, and honestly, this game is full of really cool humour. Now, it's published by eastasiasoft Limited on console, who were kind enough to send me a copy for this video. It released on the 26th of June 2024, and on Xbox, it's playable on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S consoles. Now, this is a very simple game where you play as a dog and you have to dodge things. Basically, you can move left and right and jump, and you'll go through 90 different challenges, avoiding like things coming from the scenery. There's loads of different scenarios, like you have to avoid like burning logs and jump over things. There's boss fights and stuff like that. And it's funny, it's weird, it's wonderful. It does have a story mode. It doesn't take that long. You're probably looking at about an hour and a half to get through the story mode, depending on your sort of skill level. The writing is really funny. There's a lot of jokes in it, and it's all like fully voice acted. Sounds fantastic. Really, really well done. Graphically, it has this nice sort of like cartoony art style, nice thick black lines around everything and stuff like that. Mixed between 3D environments and 2D character models, looks great as well. Has that sort of Paper Mario-esque look when they turn around and stuff, which I thought was really cool. All the characters are animated and stuff. They're not just stood still either, which is cool. Now, there's about 90 challenges to work your way through, and once you've beaten them, like through story mode, there's also a boss rush mode where you can just take on all the bosses. And while it sounds very simple, you can move left, right, and you can jump, it does get rather tricky. Imagine like Cuphead trickiness, but in like a platforming-esque sort of style. Imagine like the boss fights in like the old Crash Bandicoot games where you had to jump over everything before you could get to the boss, but on a 2D plane. That's kind of how I felt of this game. But it has a great sort of atmosphere, a great story, great setting. It's a really, really, really well-made game, and it also has pretty straightforward achievements as well. Now on Xbox, it's £8.39. It's also optimised for Series X and S consoles with 4K resolution and 60 FPS plus, and it's also available on PlayStation and Switch from eastasiasoft Limited as well. Okay, next up is Terminal 81. Now, this released on the 29th of the 5th, 2024, developed by David Patetti and published by Sometimes You, who are kind of to me a copy. Now, this released on a few systems. I played it on Xbox, but I played the Xbox Series X and S version. For some reason, sometimes you like to split them up, so there's an Xbox One port normally, and then there's like a next-gen port. They're pretty much exactly the same game. I mean, they probably run slightly better on the Series X and S, because obviously you get the 60 FPS and the 4K resolution. But other than that, it's probably only really good for achievement hunters because you get that nice double stack. Now, this is a weird little game where you basically play as this woman in 2008 in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and she basically works at a supermarket. She's trying to make ends meet. You're packing a lot of bags and stuff like that, and it's sort of a mix between job sim, mystery and psychological horror with a mega sort of PS1, early PS2 retro aesthetic to it. Now, unlike a lot of horror games nowadays where it's all like popping out at you, trying to get you and stuff like that, this one is, like I say, a bit more paranoia based. So you're working in this shop, you're spending most of your time trying to keep an eye on shoplifters and stuff like that, but there's some weird people about. I don't really want to spoil the story. There's a lot of things about like corruption and sort of like abduction and stuff like that in it. But the game is weird. Like, it comes across as it's going to be a very sort of bog standard, like low poly indie horror game. But there's a lot more to it. This feels like a psychological horror game meets like a mini Yakuza in terms of like the size of the area. So you've not just got your work. There's also like the city to explore. So there's like shops, there's parks, fairs, nightclubs, restaurants, and stuff you can explore and interact with things in. The game's full of mini games as well. So there's like dancing mini games. There's mini games where you're like shooting ducks at the fair and stuff like that. There's loads of really cool little mini games thrown in as well, on top of the sort of story mode. Now, the game itself won't take you too long. You can normally get through it in about an hour or so for like an ending. You won't have seen everything though. To explore the entire game, they say about 6 hours, depending on your skill level. Like I say, I like that you have the ability to sort of free roam the map, which is cool. My only problem is there's a lot to do and you'll miss a lot, and it feels like the narrative takes a back burner some points because you're just too busy doing all these strange mini games and stuff like that. So with some of these like indie horror games, they're very focused on what it is. It's like, oh, you're a shop clerk and weird stuff's going on. And I can't remember what the name of it was. It was like a hamburger game, and you made hamburgers in this like freaky like burger shop that had a bit more of a sort of focused narrative, whereas this one it sort of lets you sort of explore a bit more freely. Obviously, you can die in it. You don't have any way of fighting back and stuff like that. So you have to basically explore this like Latin American neighborhood, avoiding all the things like the criminal underworld, murders, all that sort of stuff. But honestly, it is pretty fun, interesting, not too scary either. And it does have different endings depending on the decisions you make, so there is a lot of replayability there as well. This is definitely a fun little one to try out. Very odd, but well worth a play. This is one that streamers will probably get a ton of fun out of as well. Now, on Xbox, it's £8.39. On Series X and S, it's also available separately on other consoles as well. And on Xbox, it has a free trial, so don't just listen to me, give it a go yourself. Okay, next up is Ario on Xbox. Now, this one is a bit of a mixed bag. It released on the 28th of the 3rd, 2024, developed by Varta Games and published by Artax Games, who were kind enough to send me a copy. And it's only playable on Xbox Series X and S on Xbox, so it does have 4K resolutions. Now, this is a side-scrolling sort of action platformer where you can like run, wall jump, roll, slide, all that sort of stuff. You have a crossbow that you can shoot at your enemies, and it's a story about this guy trying to rescue his mother who's missing, and the land he's in is plagued by nightmares and curses. Now, this is one of those like 2.5D adventure games. It has a bit of like, I want to say like the more modern Metroidvania style gameplay to it, where you bounce off the walls and stuff like that. I wouldn't say it is a Metroidvania, but it does have some sort of feel of that to it. It also has this tower defense mechanic that's within some of the levels, where you take control of these like ballista guns and you sort of slow down time as you're shooting and you're guiding the arrows and stuff, which is cool. And yeah, I mean, it's a nice premise, and like when it works, it's not bad. I like the different areas and stuff. I like using the crossbow. I thought that was quite fun. But honestly, it's needing some TLC. It's a very short game. Now there's 12 levels to play through. Each of them have like different enemies and bosses, but it's just a bit, man, it just sort of ends. There's no sort of ending to the game as such. It just sort of cuts off and you feel like, oh, that's the end, there isn't any more or anything like that. Now, it does have like illustrated cutscenes and stuff like that. However, they are voiced in Persian, so it's a bit jarring, honestly. Grabbing and climbing and stuff like that works sometimes and other times doesn't, which is a shame. it just feels like it could have just used another like half an hour in the oven. Do you know what I mean? It's just a bit undercooked. Like the core premise is fine, the core gameplay would work most of the time, but sometimes you end up just falling. It just feels a bit naff at times, which is a shame. I don't like crapping on a game, but honestly, like you get to the last boss and you're like, oh, that's the end of the game in like under an hour, pretty much. You can really fly through it. It's not that long a game. Now, I wouldn't mind that it was short because it's an indie game, but it's £10 odd on Xbox. I think it's about £10.50 or something like that on Xbox. £10.49. I don't think you're getting your bang for your buck on this one. Pick it up in a sale by all means. I just feel like there's not enough here. It's a bit ropey around the edges and stuff like that, and it just feels like this would be a good demo or like a beta or something like that. And there's still a lot of work to be done on it. Like the ballista sort of tower defense mechanics are cool, but they're underbaked as well. Everything just feels a little bit just sort of rushed and thrown together without too much care and attention, unfortunately. But it is available on other platforms as well, so do feel free to check it out. I don't feel like it needs to be next gen only at all. Like I say, this could easily run on an Xbox One, but that's just what it is. I think it's on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Okay, and last up is Unlife. Now, this released on the 23rd of February 2024 from publisher Ratalaika Games. And for some reason, I've been sat on this for a while and never done a video. I thought I had, and I'm not sure what happened, so apologies that it took so long to get this out. This is a 2D sort of horror platformer that's set in this post-apocalyptic world after like a nuclear fallout. You play this bloke and you're sort of surviving on this submarine. You're having to survive against these like nuclear monsters. You've got to sort of explore, salvage weapons and supplies. Basically, get around a whole host of obstacles as well. There's a bit of platform in there. You've got swimming and climbing and all that sort of stuff. There's even a section where you get to control a submarine as well, which is always nice. And yeah, this game features like really cool, like hand drawn art. The atmosphere and everything is on point in it. It looks great. It's dark. It's moody. The lighting like hides a lot of it, and you slowly but surely see things and stuff like that as you get closer to them. My only complaint was the control schemes were awkward as hell. It made it very difficult to really like enjoy it. So while like I liked the setting, I liked the graphics, the sound, the enemies and stuff like that, just trying to get around felt awkward at times, and that sort of spoiled a little bit of my enjoyment of the game. Now, it does feature two different endings, and one playthrough will take you about 5-6 hours, depending on how quickly you get through it. It's okay. Like I said, I just wish they'd redo the controls, like make them just work a bit better. I just struggled with it at times, and that to me spoiled it a little. Now, on Xbox, it's playable on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. Consoles, it's also optimised for Series X and S with 4K resolution. And Ratalaika have also ported it over to the PS4, PS5, and Nintendo Switch. And you can also grab it on Steam as well. It's decent. It's a nice style if you like sort of horror-esque games, but you like 2D like action platformers, like enemies. You've got to do the rolls and stuff like that to avoid them. Saving ammo. It's like, do I want to fight or do I want to run away now? That sort of thing. Very survival horror way, but in a sort of 2D style. Like I say, a really cool premise, a nice setting and everything. I do like my post-apocalyptic games. Just let down by iffy controls. Now, it's available right now. It's priced about £10.74 on the Xbox Store. Yeah, check it out. Now, that's been this week's review roundup video. Let me know in the comments down below which games you're interested in. They've all been Xbox this time, I've realised at the end of this video. Sometimes I record these and I'll sort of mix them up, but this last couple of weeks all I've been really playing is Xbox stuff for review. So yeah, leave a comment down below which of the four is your favourite. It's been a bit of a mixed bag unfortunately this time, but still some really interesting indie games there. I'm also looking at doing a DLC review roundup soon, and I've got some DLCs I've been playing through for a variety of games, so keep your eyes peeled for that. It'll be coming to the channel soon. But thanks for watching, guys.